All right, the first thing you need to know about getting a roommate as a student athlete is this. You don't necessarily need someone that's a teammate or someone that even cares about sports. In fact, I encourage you don't do that. Now, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, we have the same schedules, we have the same likes, we have the same interests, all the things. But I'll tell you this, once you get in the heat of the season, sometimes you want a boundary. Sometimes you don't want to think about your sport. Sometimes you want an escape. And what better way to have an escape than when you go home, when you go to your apartment, when you go back to your dorm. You don't want to be talking about practice. If you want to talk about practice, you can go to the lobby. You can talk about practice in practice. You can talk about practice at lunch. You're going to spend enough time with your teammates that you need time away from them. It's okay. It's okay. People always give a bad rap about NARPs, non-athletic or regular people. Guess what? This is your opportunity to connect with someone that is not a part of sports at all, that don't care about sports. And why is that important? It's important because that's going to be the career field you're going to be a part of 9 times out of 10, unless you're going to be a coach, unless you're going to be an athletic director. And even in those capacities, you still have to work with people that don't care about sports. You still have some type of conversation. You have to work towards a goal with people that don't care about sports. And I think it's a great practice for you to do so in a roommate situation. The second tip I'll give you about having a roommate in college as a student athlete is make sure you don't assume anything. You want to put things in writing. You want to have a conversation with it early on before we even start moving things in and get situated and start getting stuck in our ways. We want to have a conversation. Is it okay for you to eat my food? Is it okay for you to wear my clothes? Is it okay for you to have visitors? Is it okay for you to leave the door unlocked? Are these things okay? Let's go ahead and put that in writing beforehand. If you know anything about having a lease and an apartment complex, they don't just roll out of bed and just say, get it how you live, player. They don't say that. They have things in writing. They have a lease agreement. They have things in document form that you have got to sign off on. So if they have that level of intentionality, then what you think you need to do? And that kind of goes hand in hand with my third point is, don't penalize someone for not being raised the way you've been raised. That's a big one. When I speak with students often, student athletes or not student athletes, that's a big one. Well, that's common sense. That's how I was raised. Your mom and dad didn't raise everyone, okay? And furthermore, if you have siblings, you understand that even though your mom and dad raised you a certain way, I bet you all your siblings don't adhere to that same philosophy. So even if they did live under their same roof, that don't mean they're going to do things the same way you want to do it. So I encourage you not to demonize someone's outlook on life because they didn't live the way you lived, or they didn't have that same perspective as you have, or they weren't raised the same way you were raised. Be open that people are different from you. Much like life, people are going to be different from you. How can I work towards a common goal, meaning keeping my place feeling like a home, feeling like somewhere I look forward to going to after practice, after class? How do I maintain this with someone else? My fourth tip is make sure you have direct communication with your roommate. Make sure you have direct communication with your roommate, one-on-one. Mind you, I said direct and I said one-on-one. That doesn't mean it has to be combative, but it does mean it needs to be one-on-one. Meaning, people like to perform when they have an audience. So if I point out that you're leaving dirty dishes in the sink in front of your friends, you might be a little bit more combative. You might swell up in the chest a little bit. You might be upset with me. So if I'm serious about the information I'm giving to you versus my ego, then I want to make sure that I send that information and it has a soft landing. I don't want to make it a situation where it's a bigger situation because how I delivered it. I want to be mindful of that. As a leader, you have to be mindful of that. So I want to make sure that I have that conversation in a place that you feel safe, as a place that you don't feel threatened, as a place that is calm and peaceful. And the way I do that is one-on-one. Don't do social media. Don't do group chats. None of that foolishness because text messages. None of that foolishness because you guessed it. You can't decide someone's tone. You can't see, how did she say that? What did you mean when you said that? And you don't know how I'm feeling at the time. You can't read my social cues that You know what? I just not failed a freaking test again. I may be on academic probation. You know what? I just not went through a loss in the family. You know what? My favorite guinea pig may have passed away. It don't matter what it is. The fact of the matter is you need to see social cues before you deliver some conversation like that, because you don't want to seem like that it's being combative. And my last point is this. I probably should have put this first, but it still is it's still important, and that is do stuff with your roommate. Even if you're not friends, go out, grab lunch, be intentional about, once a week, I'm about to chop it up with my roommate. We about to do something. We about to eat something. We about to go watch something. We about to go kick it. We about to go play some video games. I don't even like playing video games. So I'm about to play video games with this joker because that's my roommate. It's like when if y'all are older siblings, sometimes when you're a kid, your parents make you hang out with your little cousin or make you hang out with your little sister or little brother. Not because you wanted to, because you had to. You need to look at your roommate like that as well. I'm just investing in this person. And I say that because you don't want it to be a situation that every time that you have a conversation with your roommate, it's something negative. Man, you keep peeing on the toilet seat. Man, you keep leaving the door open unlocked. Man, you keep having people come in the room and then sit on my bed. Who raised you? You don't want that to always be what you have to say. You want to have it in a place that you already have a peaceful relationship with this person. So if you have something to say to kind of correct the person or to make sure we're on the same page, it's not that big of a deal because we talk all the time anyway. That's some tips you need as far as being a student athlete and having roommates.